Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today, and we're just going to start it off with Litecoin Core 0.17 will beat Bitcoin Cash on cost and speed. So no more argument there. 10x fee decrease puts Litecoin in the front. So the Litecoin Core, which Litecoin Foundation said it was upcoming, the 0.17 in a blog post, now on its suspended Medium account, will deliver a host of end user improvements. Specifically, while Litecoin currently costs around 5 cents in average fees, after the update, it's going to reduce it closer to a half a cent. This alternative assets performance analyst and Learn Crypto president Nick Hellman notes will end the status quo in which Litecoin is more expensive to use than Bitcoin Cash. Despite its larger market cap, he continues, Bitcoin Cash is slower and has a more contentious community. You think it has a more contentious community? Currently, because the blocks aren't full, there is no need to pay higher fees, which is one reason why the move is being taken, developers wrote, explaining the updates. So Litecoin markets have so far not reacted to the update, trading behavior broadly falling in the line other major altcoins assets this week as well. So that basically means nothing is moving right now in the crypto world except for that Webchain. Woo! I'm real bullish on that Webchain at the moment. So cryptocurrency users suspicious of Bitcoin Cash's development and marketing practices will no doubt have doubled down on their perspective after data this week showed its network is in a precarious position. Updating his ongoing tracking of BCH, Blockstream VP Solutions head Warren Tagami noted the network's 30-day average hash rate had fallen below 7% of Bitcoins. And this, he warned, matters because of the risk of exchange insolvency from double spend theft. The hash rate proportion had dipped below 8% at the start of September, reporting on Tagami's pre-existing concerns about network security. So at the time, he compared the state of the network to a Litecoin hard fork from 2013, which imploded due to a 51% attack months afterwards. Now he says the danger of BCH following suit is not hypothetical. So God, that Litecoin just always winning. And now, moving on to some conspiracy stuff. Oh man, we better get out the very poorly made. And it doesn't work so good with my headphones on. So normally you would want to remove the headphones, then apply the tinfoil coif, and then it really works. So we need to support this for now. So some tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists believe government devised and built Bitcoin as weaponized money to enslave the people. They think Big Brother made the technology to subjugate everyone and that politicians are somehow benefiting from the technology. In an odd twist of logic, these people believe Bitcoin represents a state-sponsored tool for control. So government did not create Bitcoin as weaponized money. The opposite is true. Crypto anarchists constructed Bitcoin to undermine and destabilize governments. The exact creator of Bitcoin is unknown. The individual pseudonym is Satoshi Nakamoto, but it could also be a group of people. No one knows. I think the latter, a group of people. However, we are intimately acquainted with the group, with the people who fleshed out the original blueprint for Bitcoin. Cypherpunks like David Chaum, Timothy May, Eric Hughes, and Whitfield Diffie are responsible for declaring the vision for crypto. None of these people cared for governments. They were mainly anarchists who wanted to use dissident tech to uphold freedom, privacy, and anonymity. So I would also put Nick Szabo on there because he did write the paper that was essentially Bitcoin, I think in 1998, that was virtually the same thing as Bitcoin, so it was pretty much like the precursor to Bitcoin, and then cryptography was kind of the precursor of that, if you will. So Cypherpunks manifesto written in 1993, Eric Hughes said, we, the Cypherpunks, are dedicated to building anonymous systems. We are defending our privacy with cryptography, with anonymous mail forwarding systems, and with digital signatures, and with electronic money. Hughes continued, cypherpunks write code. We know that someone has to write software to defend privacy, and since we can't get privacy unless we all do, we're going to write it. We publish our code so that our fellow cypherpunks may practice and play with it. Our code is free for all to use worldwide. We don't care much if you don't approve of the software we write. We know that the software can't be destroyed and that a widely dispersed system can't be shut down. So again, a precursor of Bitcoin. The characteristics of Bitcoin are imbued with the aforesaid cypherpunk features. The fact government cannot manipulate the circulating supply of Bitcoin means they can't defraud people through arbitrary hyperinflation. The fact Bitcoin is peer-to-peer and censorship resistant implies that governments can't freeze accounts, halt transactions, or steal money, even though they kind of do take money when you get in trouble. These features attest to the purpose of the tech. Bitcoin's characteristics are not something governments would purposely build into a currency to control people. Its features are antithetical to control. Why would government make a decentralized currency that does not support its agenda? So I just kind of want to answer that just a little bit. Is it maybe, if it was, and I'm not saying it is at all, so let's just go with it for a second. If it was the government, maybe it was just a test to see how it would work, and then the Federal Reserve and various other world banks would make something for their own, but that seems like a pretty wild test. You know, another thing, the government kind of can control Bitcoin in a way by simply banning it, and that takes a lot away from... Ooh, you see me take off the hat? Maybe that means something. I don't know. But that takes a lot away from Bitcoin's power. When it gets banned, it really affects the price. China banned Bitcoin exchanges, and it went from $5,000 in last September in 2017 to $3,000. So that had a very huge effect on Bitcoin. Sure, it's higher than that today. So you could say, well, it was just a short-term effect, and so it was. But if governments really want to, and they start banning cryptocurrencies or the trading of them, or being, making it unable to sign up to an exchange or this, that, or the other thing, it really does have a huge effect on it. And if it was such a big enough effect, it could affect the price so greatly that no one is really going to use it that much. And you'll always have people that will use it. But if the whole world isn't really using it, it's not as good as just a few people. It's kind of like, the technology law, and I can't actually remember what it's called. It's basically like one phone, it's exponential. So like one telephone in the world is useless. And then with two telephones in the world, it's exponentially better than one. And then three telephones in the world is actually exponentially better than two. And so on, because now more people have access to it. So they can't really actually not control it, but they can certainly affect it. Maybe that's a better word for it. However, there's a major caveat. Governments did not build Bitcoin or develop its features, but they may be trying to co-opt. For instance, Bitcoin core developers have neutered many of Bitcoin's anti-government features. Again, mind you, this is a Bitcoin.com article, so Bitcoin Core to them is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin, which is really weird. So they've stripped away Bitcoin's digital signature architecture and failed to scale the block size of Bitcoin, turning it into a milquetoast technology. Oh, Bitcoin.com. Oh, yeah, but raising the block size of Bitcoin Cash is going to do the trick. So then as soon as everybody starts using Bitcoin Cash and the blocks fill up, then you're going to be like, oh, well, we're right back in the same spot. So interesting that they would say that instead of talk about Lightning Network and SegWit. Bitcoin.com. Oh, Bitcoin.com. So one article claimed Blockstream is now controlled by the Bilderberg Group. Blockstream, like Bitcoin developers and stuff. Seriously, AXA Strategic Ventures co-lead investor for Blockstream's $55 million financing round is the investment arm of French insurance giant AXA Group. Wow. Whose CEO, Hen de Castries, have been chairman of the Bilderberg Group since 2012. Ooh. Jeff Berwick also commented on the issue in an older Dollar Vigilante article called Bitcoin War Begins. Bitcoin Cash rises 50% while Bitcoin drops 1,000 in 24 hours. Oh, Bitcoin Cash. Jeez. Anyway, moving on, guys. So, as you can see, there's still a lot of controversy, conspiracy, etc. With the whole Bitcoin, even Bitcoin Cash thing, and cryptocurrency in general. But I don't think the government made it. I think just a group of people made Bitcoin, and then it just really, really took off. And now Bitcoin Cash is just taking advantage of that ASIC boost and that good fork money. Oh man! And then they're just like, no, we're not going to do SegWit because that's going to take away our ASIC boost. We can't do that, and we can't install Lightning Network that's going to be super fast and awesome. We just got to make the block sizes bigger, so that as soon as it starts actually getting used, it goes back to just being like Bitcoin. So that's basically it. Because Bitcoin's block size is so small that when people start to actually use it, that's when you see the fees go up a lot. And that's going to be Bitcoin Cash. If everybody starts using Bitcoin Cash, then the fees are just going to go way up, just like Bitcoin. They're really low right now because of the large block sizes, but trust me, guys, it's not an end solution. It's terrible. So. Stablecoins are the Disney dollars of crypto. Disneyland's first president, Jack Lindquist, introduced the in-house currency called Disney dollars in 1987. These paper notes featured pictures of Mickey Mouse and other popular Disney characters. They were sold at the theme parks in denominations of 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, just like their US dollar counterparts. So we set the criteria that our Disney money would always be tied to the price of the US currency. So if a dollar's worth $1, a Disney dollar would be worth $1, Lindquist said in his memoir. That way, the money could be spent in the parks the same way U.S. currency is. And that way, you'd have to spend all that money in the Disney park, and you couldn't spend it anywhere else. So if you were left over with 5 Disney dollars, you can't buy anything in Disneyland for $5. So you have to just spend more money. You have to spend that $5 and more money to buy, like, anything. Like, basically, a sticker is like $47 at Disneyland. Today, in the cryptocurrency space, this would be called a tokenization of a fiat currency and the product of a stablecoin. Such as USDT, USDC, PAX, HUSD, etc. So, however, despite being produced with the same level of scrutiny, care, and concern as any other currency, Disney discontinued it in 2016 as gift cards and other forms of payment rendered them obsolete. In other words, stablecoins, or to be precise, stablecoins controlled by a central entity, Coinbase, Disney, etc., are nothing new. They exist in many forms today all over the globe, with nations even pegging their money to the global reserve fiat currency, the US dollar, to achieve the same goal, stability. Places like Hong Kong and Bahrain, for example, are some of the biggest economies in the world whose currency is pegged to the US dollar. So they're not stable, and they're not coins. Stability becomes a relative concept. However, when the bigger picture of the dollar-denominated global financial system comes into view, as we could see back in 1913, before the Federal Reserve was created in the United States, or about when it was created, $1 was worth $1. Who would have thought? You could take your $1, you could get gold for it, or you could spend your $1, and it's $1. And then you could see when the Federal Reserve was created, it just absolutely dumped. It went up a little bit when the Federal Reserve fixed the stock market crash, which they probably created in the first place. We won't get into that. And then, as you can see today, a dollar is worth about 5 cents of what it used to be in 1913. So by design, like most fiat currencies today, the dollar itself is a depreciating asset. Thus, a currency pegged to the US dollar will lose value over time as well. So, if you have a whole bunch of Tether, or if you have a whole bunch of USDC or whatever it's called, it's actually subject to inflation. And if it's not deflating at 3% a year, if you're not gaining at least 3% gains a year, you're actually losing money. That's kind of like I had a financial advisor one time tell me that if you put your money into a savings account, and they got like 1% interest usually on savings accounts, or sometimes less, even 1.5 interest or something like that, you're actually losing money. So if you take $1,000, you put it in your savings account, and you're getting some money every month. But by the time 1 year rolls around, the inflation of the US dollar has increased at least 3%. So that means that by not spending that money that you were saving in your savings account, you actually lost money, believe it or not. Crazy, right? That's not to say don't save money, but you have to save money in smarter ways, like buying mutual stock or buying stock or even cryptocurrency, something like that, because savings accounts, the interest rate is actually lower than inflation rate, to put it a little bit more simply. A stablecoin is no different. It retains all the essentialized properties of fiat while introducing none of the benefits of Bitcoin technology, such as neutrality, censorship, resistance, contrary to stablecoins being often marketed as the new gateway to an open financial system. In fact, regulated stablecoins in particular can be easily frozen, blacklisted, and confiscated by the issuer company. So somebody tweets here, all centralized stablecoins will likely need to incorporate this or will be shut down when they fail to obey a judge's orders to freeze criminal accounts. So it's basically, just so everyone is aware, there is a backdoor in the USDC stablecoin launched at Coinbase today, which allows any address to be blacklisted or funds frozen. And I covered this in yesterday's episode, so if you haven't watched that, you better watch that. Way to shill, huh? Way to shill. Boom, 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 boom. That's shilling. But anyway, yesterday I covered it a little bit more in detail about USDC coin and how you basically can't buy anything with it. If you buy a knife with it, your account's blacklisted. If you buy prescription drugs with it, if you buy like anything basically with USDC, or the government just doesn't like you, or Coinbase doesn't like you, they can just shut down your account. So if you have $1 in there or $1 million, they shut you down, period, and you just can't access the funds. It's insane. It's so crazy. Coinbase is starting to become a little fascist. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I actually really like Coinbase, because in the US it's really convenient to use, because you can just send money from your bank account, send money to your bank account, all for free, which is awesome. But the fascism makes me want to wash my hands. Banking support for stablecoin issuers has also proven to be unreliable. Tether, for example, remained tight-lipped about its banking partner details recently when it announced it will reopen fiat deposits from KYC-verified users. So yes, they may be useful in providing relative short-term stability and help traders with arbitrage opportunities, but the trade-offs are the loss of privacy, centralization, and guarantee that value will depreciate over time, as with all fiat currencies, even if the spot price stays at $1. However, this is not always the case. Despite carrying the name stablecoins, unfortunately, they don't always stay true to their value. This is because they're openly traded on exchanges based on the supply and demand, meaning their price can fluctuate if people are willing to pay less or more for the currency. For example, Gemini dollar was pegged at $1 and actually hit $1.18. Tether, which pegged at $1, actually fluctuated over time, is currently trading at 96 cents. So, do we think stablecoins are here to stay? Only time will tell, but for now, we are not committing to them. So again, stablecoins just lose value over time, and 1 year a gallon of milk is $3, and then 5 years from now that same gallon of milk is $5, and therefore your $3 of US Tether or excuse me, Tether or USDC or whatever is not going to buy that gallon of milk anymore. And that's a pretty vague, rough example, but you can see what I mean here, is that 3%, at least 3% inflation a year. That's kind of like what you should go off of. So it means basically your money is worth 3% less every year. And that might not mean much to you in the short term, but if you plan on holding some of these coins for a very long time, buy money. So yeah, absolutely odd coins. They're helpful for arbitrage trading, as it says in the article, and I completely agree with that. If Bitcoin goes to 20,000 and you sell to Tether and you hold that 20,000 in Tether now, whether usually you want to do it when Tether fluctuates a little bit, depending on whether you're buying or selling at the time. And now you have 20,000 in Tether. Bitcoin goes down to $6,000, and if you would have held on to Bitcoin, you would have just lost all that money. It would have just, now it's depreciated down to 6,000. But now you still have $20,000 in Tether, and now you can buy Bitcoin now at $6,000 and triple your Bitcoin if you would have done that. So very useful in the short term, but again, just watch out, guys. Don't actually buy anything. Be very careful holding on, particularly to US dollar Tether, on Coinbase, because wow, if you haven't watched my previous video, even if you just have to skip to that portion of the video, it's insane the things that you can't buy. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you do any of it, they could just shut down your account. So that's going to happen a lot. So get ready for some news stories on that pretty soon. I'm willing to bet within the next few months there's going to be a few on my channel, I'm sure. Moving on. Another 100 million Tether withdrawn from circulation. So another 100 million Tether was removed from Bitfinex and placed in the Tether Treasury wallet. Oh man, they just all that $100 million in their treasury wallet, and nobody can see it, and nobody can audit it, and nobody can tell how much they have. It's just amazing. Oh my God, Tether, you guys just don't stop with the fucking conspiracies. Holy crap. When is it going to end? Removal. So the removal of liquidity, thus exceeding 1 billion coins. The balance. So somebody's got $1 billion now. The balance of Bitfinex went as low as 3 million USDT, but is rising once again as deposits are flowing in, because now they're just flowing back in, because they just take them and just put them back in. It's just no rules. It's like the state of Ohio. There's just no rules at all. People driving around with no hoods on their car, no doors on their car. I swear to God, one time I was driving through the state of Ohio, and somebody had absolutely no hood on their car. You could see the engine just cruising down the street. Cops are like, good day, you know what I mean? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. No rules in Ohio. I promise you, no rules. So that's kind of like Tether. Did you get the analogy? I don't know. In the past, large amounts of Tether injected into the exchange often led to an immediate price action for Bitcoin. You think? Now, the withdrawal coincides with stagnant Bitcoin prices or trading slowly move to other pairs and markets. Oh, who would have thought? Oh my God, just a billion Tether now missing. Somebody's got themselves money, billion Tether, and then they're just pouring it back into exchanges. Oh, so the share of Tether and BTC trading has been sliding, going down around 44% from peaks of nearly 60% in past weeks. So as a share of the entire crypto market, Tether still commands about 18% of all trades, down from 21%. Tether premium of Bitcoin prices on Bitfinex is still around $142, with the lower Tether value distorting the nominal price on the exchange. Tether continues to trade at 97 cents on Kraken because it's supposed to be $1, where volumes are currently slim. At the same time, the Bitfinex cold wallet has seen some inflows through the balance, still relatively low at 133,317 BC, only relatively low, you know what I mean? Only 133,000, guys, come on, it's like we can pump those numbers up. Come on. The persistent disbalance through Bitfinex and Tether remains worrying for the crypto space. The Tether price has hovered below $1 for about a month now and is on track to break record from last spring when the asset stayed below $1 for 6 weeks. So the supply of Tether now available now is below 2 billion tokens, only below 2 billion, the lowest level in the past 10 months. It is possible that more coins will be revoked as Tether accumulates on Bitfinex. The Bitfinex wallet had grown from around 7 million up to 9 million, suggesting the possibility of even more coins being moved to the treasury. So Tether is still held on other exchanges with nearly 700 million contained in the wallets on Binance. So almost done for the day. We're going to take a look at CoinMarketCap here. Still at $209 billion. It fluctuates from 208, 210, 209 every day. So we are going nowhere really fast. We're kind of like a tank in mud. We just ain't going nowhere. We're like a German tank in mud because they got wee little tracks, and they for some reason they're just like, no, these tracks are just fine. And then the Russians are like, no, we did big. Mother Russia make big tracks, and then they're just ripping through mud. Big tracks, guys. Tank tips. Okay, big tracks. Anyway, so Bitcoin is still at 6,400. We'll check the winner of the day here. Electroneum, interestingly enough, the winner of the day in the top 100, that is. So very interesting because I consider Electroneum really shit coin. Just what is it for? Nobody knows. Loser of the day, Ravane. Never even heard of that. So it just kind of got onto that top 100 board, and now it's just like, boom, and it's just getting rocked. So pretty good. I want to take a look at Webchain because I have started mining Webchain. I created a tutorial for it. I'm going to create a tutorial soon for GPU mining of Webchain. While it's not that profitable to do, you can pour in every few hours while GPU and CPU mining with a rig. Every few hours you can pull in 30, 40 coins, something like that. Overnight, it's easy to get well over 100. I'd say in a day with just a rig with a few GPUs and a CPU in it, you could get probably a couple hundred a day, which if you do the math at 0.007 cents, that's not a lot. So there are likely other coins, of course, you can mine for better profit with your GPUs. However, this coin, let me just say, like 2 days ago was 200 and some thousand market cap, and 2 days ago, I remember very specifically, it was at 4,100 US dollars. I even said it in my video, 4,100 US dollars. Now it's 4 times that at 16,000 US dollar trading volume on Stacks, the only exchange that it's being traded on. So as this gets added to more exchanges, it's going to go way up in price, and I expect this to be well over 1 penny very soon. And at the rapid pace that you can mine this, if this coin ever hit $1, it would be incredible profits, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Now, mind you, the total supply currently that it can get up to is 401 billion, and its current supply is 401 million, and its current supply is 51 million. Whether or not CoinMarketCap is a little off on that, you could probably read their white paper and find some better details on that. So it is kind of a medium supply coin. Now, because a lot of coins can have billions or even trillions in their coin supply, this only has at least hundreds of millions total. So $1 is not out of its reach. Even if it was $1 right now, it would only be a 51 million market cap, which we could see wouldn't really put it that that high on the list. So that's really not that crazy. It would actually be, let's see where 51 million would be. It would be approximately 111th on the market cap. So that is not crazy to think that it could be $1. And since if you could mine 200 of these a day, and if one day it went up to $1, pretty nice. Even this coin, Webchain, actually even is able to be mined on Celeron and Pentium processors. There are really low difficulty mining pools for Celeron and Pentium processors. It could be mined on Android, but don't do that on your cell phone because it's a good way to destroy your cell phone. I'm just saying it can be. So because it can be mined on Celeron and Pentium processors, like really newer processors, Ryzen's, the i9 are really great at it. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how fast the coins come in. And it's fun because it's been up quite a bit. So when I actually started mining this coin, it was, let's see, what's the date today? So it was the 24th, I think, and it was like about 0.4 of a cent, and now it is 0.7 of a cent, and it actually got up to 0.8 of a cent as well. So pretty dramatic increase, nearly 100% increase over the course of a couple days. So pretty good. Hopefully it's not just a pump and it will last a little while. And even if it does dump, maybe someday when the bull run comes around, it will go up quite a bit. So it's just one of those opportunities for you. If you just want to CPU mine it, that's fine. But there is GPU capability as well. Again, it's not really that profitable to GPU mine it, but maybe one day it goes up in price. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.